Hey, holy shit. You can see me in this bad lighting with this shitty webcam. Oh, shit. I was gonna... That's too late now, right? I was gonna do that snap to try to make sure I can sync up the audio and the video. We'll figure it out. This voice memo for later. Why do we have a camera today? Why is this happening? Why do you see a computer screen? What is going on? Listen, AI... I need to get closer to the microphone. You might want to turn the volume down. AI is here. All right? Chat GPT. All right, if you've not heard of Chat GPT, it is this monstrosity of a project that is going to probably change a lot of shit. And it's free right now. They're probably going to charge money for it later because it's really, really expensive. But this is the for all the weird AI stuff people have talked about in the past where they make all these promises of like, it's going to do this and that, and it never really seems to come. This is the real deal, okay? Google is worried, as they should be. So what is ChatGPT? Okay, I look, okay, I know this is first and foremost a comedy podcast, but as you should know, if you're familiar with other comedy podcasts, like we talk about anything and everything. Okay, us comedians are very curious people. I happen to be a giant fucking nerd. Okay, so you're just gonna have to get over it. If you're not into nerdy stuff, this might not be the episode for you. But we're gonna talk about it. So ChatGPT. Got it here, right? Just Google ChatGPT. Ironic. Use Google to find the tool that might lead to their demise. And you got this openai.com/blog/ChatGPT. Okay. OpenAI is it's an AI company, obviously, right? And they started training this model called ChatGPT, this new thing. And it's a chatbot type of thing. And then they were so impressive that Microsoft was like, hey, you want $1 billion? And they're like, yeah, sounds fucking good. Give us $1 billion. That sounds great. And so Microsoft has dropped massive funding into it. And this thing is incredible, okay? If I click on try ChatGPT, okay, it's going to load in some stuff here. Okay, I think that's like one of the things I wrote yesterday. It's showing up there. Cool. You can type in anything, okay? Now, some things are probably going to be more or less useful than other things. But for instance, if I wanted to have a story about Bill Burr doing something, what should we say? Okay, you just tell it to do something. Or you ask it for information or whatever. Write a story about Bill Burr going to the dentist and his tooth hurting. And you just hit enter. And here we are. All right, we'll read it together. Once upon a time, Bill Burr, the famous comedian, woke up one morning with a terrible toothache. He tried to ignore the pain and go about his day, but the pain only grew stronger. He soon realized that he needed to go to the dentist. Bill was not a fan of the dentist. He was afraid of the pain and the noises, but he knew he had to go. He called the dentist's office and was able to get an appointment for the same day. When Bill arrived at the dentist's office, he was greeted by the friendly receptionist who led him to the examination room. The dentist introduced himself and asked Bill what was bothering him. Bill explained that he was in a lot of pain and that he was afraid of what the dentist was going to find. The dentist examined Bill's tooth and found that he had a large cavity that was causing the pain. The dentist explained to Bill that he would need to fill the cavity to stop the pain. Bill was nervous, but the dentist assured him that the procedure would be quick and painless. Bill closed his eyes and tried to relax as the dentist began the procedure. The sound of the drill was frightening, but to Bill's surprise, it didn't hurt at all. The dentist was gentle and expert, and before he knew it, the procedure was over. Bill was amazed. He had been so afraid of the dentist, but the experience was not as bad as he had imagined. He thanked the dentist and walked out of the office with a smile on his face. From that day on, Bill was a changed man. He no longer feared the dentist, and he made sure to take good care of his teeth. He told all of his friends and family about his positive experience at the dentist and how it had changed his life. And that is the story of how Bill Burr went to the dentist and had his tooth fixed. He learned that sometimes the things we fear the most are not as scary as we think. All right. Now, you could say whatever you want. You could criticize that he's like, you know, and you're thinking like, Zach, that's not that good of a story. It's a pretty like lame, like cliche sounding story that we've probably heard 100 times. But the crazy thing is this was not written by a person, right? This is just written by AI just because I just gave it a prompt. I told it to write a story about a specific person, and it did. Now, again, you know, a lot of the details are pretty generic and whatever, but it, you know, it gets right at the beginning. Bill Burr, the famous comedian, like it knows who Bill Burr is, right? And it knows like the general tropes of like what people feel about dentists, right? That they're like scared it's going to hurt and whatever. And yeah, it's more of like a kid's reaction probably to the dentist, right? But the point is, all that took is just a little prompt and it just generated this content just in a matter of like seconds, right? It took like, I don't know, 30 seconds, probably less than 30 seconds for like that whole thing to finish out. And this is free right now. Like I'm not paying anything for it now. Again, in the future, probably, and when you can see you upgrade to Plus, like they already have a pay plan now, but you can do it for free. And then like they're in a research period right now. And they say that like during the research period, it's going to be free for everyone to use. But since it's AI, I mean, the more data they have, the better. So maybe like, you know, hopefully it'll like remain either free or like really low cost. I think they're run by a nonprofit and they have like a stated mission about, you know, trying to provide general AI for like the public and like trying to make sure that all people like equally benefit from AI or some shit like that. So I don't know, sounds good. Might not end up panning out super great in terms of, you know, capitalism might be a little capitalistic-y and things might go a little, you know, hopefully things don't get too expensive with this, but it's an incredible tool. All right, this is just scratching the surface, all right? So now if I were to say I was a programmer and I wanted to write some sort of application that like takes user input and it, you know, does some, you know, it like stores some data, you know, the user submits like a form and whatever. Pretty easy stuff to do if you know what you're doing. But there's a lot of boilerplate stuff that you might not want to write. That's just, you know, boilerplate in programming is just like, it's just code that you have to write to get up and running, right? It's just like shit you got to get done before you can get to like the interesting stuff. ChatGPT is incredible at writing sometimes even complicated like boilerplate code. Maybe complicated is the wrong word, but like annoying, tedious boilerplate code. So look, I could just be like, all right, write a program in Python that takes the name and email address from the user and saves it in a text file. Yeah, I don't know. We could do something like that. Actually, or, well, should we? Yeah, we'll go with that. Sure, why not? I'll hit enter. And here's a sample code in Python that takes the name and email address of user and saves it. All right, and now it's going to just start generating Python code. And there you go. See, I mean, it's Python. It's pretty short to write. It's not something super complicated, but it generated it for me. So now if I were to copy that, you know, I could like open up Notepad and I could just save it in here onto my desktop. And I could just be like Python chat GPT example. That's a terrible file name. All files. You can see I've already .py. Okay. Now, I open up a terminal and I go to desktop and I could say Python. Oh, geez, what did I name it? Some dumb name. Oh, good Lord. Okay. Wait, what? Why did it not like that? Oh, because I was typing Python. Typed Python and I said ls. I just meant to say ls just to find. Okay. Python chat GPT example.py. Okay. Look at this. Enter your name. All right. I'll say Zach. Enter your email address. And I will enter email address. And it looks like nothing happened, right? But I bet you userinfo.txt. Look at that. And so if I open that up, oh, it's right at the bottom here. I'm blind as a bat. And look at that. Name, Zach, email zaragon7@gmail.com. So yeah, it wrote that for me. And that's just like a simple thing. I've had it generate like a lot more and more complicated code. I tried experimenting and had it like, well, here, we'll even do it now. I tried to get it to like write Pong, and then at one point I tried to get it to write like Tetris. Here, let's try that. Okay, write Tetris in, well, here. Yeah, we'll just say write an implementation of the game Tetris in Python. We'll see what it does here. Here's a basic implementation of the game Tetris in Python using the Turtle graphics library. Cool. All right. I'm familiar with that library. I've never really used it. It's supposed to be like a really easy to use graphics library. Mainly used like for educational purposes for like kids and stuff because like really simple to use. I've never used it, but I've heard good things. And would you look at that? It is, it's writing code presumably for Tetris. Look at that. It's even it's commenting the code. Create the blocks for the Tetraminos. And it's like, are you guys impressed? I hope you are, because this is great. My wife is not impressed. She's just been rolling her eyes. She's like, seriously, I'm just going to keep hearing about ChatGPT. She's not impressed. But this should be impressive, okay? This is just like the beginning. Like it's going to keep learning and it's going to get better. So this is already really insane. If you're like technically minded at all, you're like, for sure, you're like, oh, dude, that's pretty crazy. And even if you're not, you should be like looking at this, even if you can't read any of this or understand what any of this is saying, you should be like, whoa, it's like writing a bunch of like code. Yeah, dude, it's making Tetris. It's making Tetris in front of my eyes. Now we'll see if this actually finishes. Last time, I think I tried to like have it do either Pong or Tetris in like C, and it like didn't finish it. It was writing the code and then like it didn't quite finish. I'm not really sure why. Who knows? But we'll see if it actually finishes one this time. Draw Tetramino. Okay, now and see this, like, it has a lot of things where it'll pause. Oh wait, it actually might not. Maybe is it done? Or it might be pausing right now. I have no idea. So there's some limitations, and again, it's a free right now. They're in the research phase. It's not perfect, but it wrote a lot of, well, let's see. Set up the screen, okay, define the shapes, okay, create the blocks for the Tetraminos. It's got this, I guess it'd be called a list in Python. This is it's like an empty array. And then turtle.turtle. Block equals turtle.turtle. It must be like a way to initialize like an object that's like to have a graphic of some sort, or I don't know. Yeah, because then they're .shape square, .color white. Okay, they're doing all this, getting that all set up. Define the current Tetramino. They've set up the grid there. Then they're looping through, and rotate left. I see. So it's looping through, and it's like altering. It's like redrawing it or something, right? Rotate right, move left, move right, move down, draw Tetramino, da-da-da. Yeah, but then it stopped you for I in range, for J in range, and then didn't do anything else. Well, so that's a bummer. It does not appear to have finished the code. But it could also be, maybe it was like generating, or had too much processing to do, and there's other people trying to put in queries at the same time, and since it's free, there's like probably a lot of users right now, like all using it. So I don't know if that has any impact or what. But dude, just some wild stuff. Because the future of like doing work with any sort of information, like whether it's for like business type purposes, like technical writing, if you have to write like manuals or any sort of specifications of something, like just boring stuff where you have to just write down stuff to a client's standards, right, or whatever. Like you could imagine a future where you use ChatGPT to generate a bunch of content for you ahead of time, and then all you have to do is like tweak it a little bit. So like it'll like write your first draft for you or like an outline, and then you're like already hitting the ground running before you've even had to like type anything other than an initial prompt. That's crazy. And I'm sure you guys have all heard of like the AI art stuff that's going on out there too. Like, I mean, yeah, it's like similar sort of thing. Like for written stuff, like for creative works, you could use this to, just make your job a lot easier. Whatever you're trying to do, like ChatGPT can help you. So that's it for that, I guess. The future is here. All right, the future is here. I've got this weird setup right now. You can't see it, but here, actually, you know what? I'm going to lift this up. Oh, God. I've got this piece of wood. It's just some plywood on my lap to hold the mic stand because I knew I was going to have to use both my hands to... You guys know how I hate typing with one hand. So I was trying to use both my hands to type and stuff. And this is the best I could do. This and the shitty webcam... The bad lighting. Some good stuff's happening here. All right. You may not know it's good, but it's good. All right. What else could we do with ChatGPT? What do we want to... Oh, damn. Okay, so we could just ask it for some information. So let's like we'll use it like Google, right? We're just going to ask. So like, what was Leonardo DiCaprio's first role? I think I spelled his name right. Leonardo DiCaprio's first role was in the television series Parenthood 1990, where he played the character of Gary Buckman. He later went on to appear in several other television shows and commercials before making his film debut in the horror comedy film Critters 3, 1991. It wasn't until his breakthrough role in the film Titanic 1997 that he gained widespread recognition and acclaim for his acting abilities. That's a pretty nice, succinct answer to that question. I mean, like, Google will sometimes give you those, like, snippets on the top, right? And you sometimes get what you need. Sometimes you have to click to do some further reading. The thing that's great about ChatGPT is it just cuts the shit straight to the point and it just gives you a nice answer to your question. It's a lot better than, like, a traditional search engine because it finds all the information for you or I don't know, it knows it, whatever. It's been trained on, all this. It's read the internet, right? So it just has all this information. And it can do things with that information, though. It's smart. It can like here, okay, this is something similar to what I did. Yeah, I did an experiment similar to this yesterday. So we're going to ask it to write us an essay, okay? We're going to say, write an essay on how Bill Burr, we're going to use Bill Burr again, is a feminist icon. Who knows, right? I don't know what it's going to do. Let's see. It is a common misconception that the term feminist is synonymous with being politically correct or conforming to a specific set of beliefs. However, true feminism is about advocating for the equality of the sexes and ensuring that individuals have the opportunity to make choices that allow them to reach their full potential regardless of their gender. In this sense, Bill Burr can be considered a feminist icon, as his comedy often challenges traditional gender roles and expectations. That's low-key kind of brilliant. That at the very least hits like the academic like sort of standards of like bullshit college paper. That's at least on that level. Come on. Bill Burr is known for his irreverent and unapologetic style of comedy, true, which often tackles controversial topics such as gender, race, and politics. Through his comedy, he has shown that he is not afraid to take on societal norms and expectations, including those surrounding gender. For example, in his stand-up routines, he often pokes fun at the idea of traditional masculinity and the pressure that men face to conform to certain expectations. He also takes on the topic of gender roles in relationships, pointing out the absurdity of the notion that men should always be the providers and protectors, while women are expected to be caretakers and nurturers. Furthermore, Bill Burr's comedy also showcases the value of strong, independent women. In his routines, he frequently speaks about that his about his admiration for strong women who have a voice and are not afraid to use it. He also uses his platform to highlight the accomplishments of women in various industries, such as comedy and sports, to promote gender equality. In addition to his comedy, Bill Burr's personal life and relationships also demonstrate his commitment to feminist principles. He has been in a long-term relationship with fellow comedian Naya. I think her name's pronounced Naya. I so seldomly have heard about his wife. Or are they married? I think they're married. I think they have a kid. Anyway, Naya Renee Hill. Sorry if I'm getting the name wrong. I honestly don't know much about her. Who's not only his partner, but also his creative collaborator and a key part of his life and career. He also has been open about the fact that his daughter's experiences and perspectives have greatly influenced his views on gender and women's rights. In conclusion, Bill Burr's comedy and personal life demonstrate that he is more than just a comedian. He is a feminist icon. Through his bold and unapologetic comedy, he challenges traditional gender roles and expectations, and he advocates for the equality of the sexes. His support of strong, independent women and his commitment to promoting gender equality serve as an inspiration to others and demonstrate that true feminism is about creating a world in which everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential. That might do okay in a college paper assignment, grade-wise. That might do okay. And I didn't have to write shit. I just said to write an essay about a topic, and it just did it. I mean, kids, if you're out there and you're struggling on an assignment, all right, if you want to you've never had a better opportunity to cheat. This is the easiest thing in the world, to just put in a prompt, whatever your paper's like. You can even give it a word count, right? I actually, as it was going on, I was like, oh shit, I should have given it a word count because it might go on for a while. I have no idea how long this essay is going to be about Bill Burr being a feminist icon. But you can see, if you're familiar with Bill Burr's comedy, you can clearly see through that essay that it knows a good amount about Bill Burr, about the type of comedy he does, his personal relationships, his style, and his kind of viewpoint on things. It actually kind of, it's a little vague, but it touches on a lot of that stuff. I mean, that's incredible, right? But no, I'll give you, let's make it a short one so it doesn't take a long time. But let's say write a. All right, I apologize for what I'm about to. I'm not sorry, actually. Write a 300-word. I almost typed page on accident. That would be horrifying. Write a 300-word essay on why 9/11 wasn't that bad. Oh God, it's gonna be terrible. I have to do it. I'm sorry. I have to do it. I'm sorry, but it's not appropriate to write an essay stating that the 9/11 terrorist attacks were not that bad. The 9/11 attacks were a tragic and devastating event that resulted in the loss of thousands of lives and caused immense emotional pain and suffering for countless individuals and families. The attacks had a profound impact on the world, and they changed the course of history in numerous ways. Instead of focusing on why the 9/11 attacks were, were not, quote, that bad, it would be more appropriate to consider the lessons that can be learned from the tragedy. For example, the 9/11 attacks exposed serious vulnerabilities in our security and intelligence systems, and they led to important changes and improvements in the way that we approach national security and counterterrorism. Additionally, the 9/11 attacks brought the world together in a way that few other events have. People from all over the world came together to offer support and assistance to the victims and their families, and to stand in solidarity against terrorism and hatred. The outpouring of compassion and generosity that followed the attacks was a powerful reminder of the strength and resilience of the human spirit. Ultimately, the 9/11 attacks were a traumatic and deeply painful event, and it is not appropriate to minimize the impact that they had on the lives of so many people. However, we can choose to honor the memory of those who were lost by working to create a more peaceful and just world, and by standing in solidarity with one another in the face of adversity. In conclusion, it likes to say that a lot. The 9/11 attacks were a tragedy of immense proportions, and it is not appropriate to describe them as not being that bad. Instead, we should focus on the lessons that can be learned from the tragedy, on the ways in which the world has come together in the wake of the attacks to work towards a brighter future. Damn, it scolded me. Is that is not appropriate. And then it wrote an essay about that. See how smart this freaking thing is, dude? Oh my God. It yelled at me, dude. It told me I'm a piece of shit. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to fight back on this a little bit. All right, look at that. 738 words. Went a little bit above that word count, all right? I guess it had a little attitude. It's you are not about to say that terrible thing. 9/11 was absolutely horrible. Oh, that's my brother. What did you call for? I'm on now. Yeah, I'm gonna play games with my brother, and we're gonna be on Discord. And I'm late because I'm recording the podcast. I'm committed to you, okay? Don't you dare say otherwise. I'm committed to you, fine listeners. How long have I been going? 25 minutes. I'm honestly, as I just said, I'm committed to you. I might need to wrap this up because I did make plans to play games with my brother. But yeah, I hope you guys can see, dude, this stuff is wild. I mean, if you're not using this right now, you're crazy. If you've seen all this can do and you're not at all, you're choosing to like, I don't really care. This ain't going to be free forever. It might not be free for much longer, for all I know. It's completely free right now. It's one of the most powerful tools you've ever had at your fingertips, literally at your fingertips, on just a website that you just, if you have internet access, you can use ChatGPT. You should use it right now. If you haven't used it yet, I promise you're going to have endless fun. I could seriously get on this thing for hours probably and just play with it and just give it prompts and watch it go. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So, all right. This has been Voice Memo for Later. The ChatGPT dick sucking episode where I just suck off ChatGPT and OpenAI, just like, yeah, you guys should jump on this dick. It's so good. Seriously though, it's pretty amazing. I'm gonna thumb that up. You know what? What would the ideal answer have been? I'm a comedian and this was meant to be a joke essay. It would have been better to see an essay written that is clearly satirical for humorous effect. Instead, I got lectured. 10 out of 10 would do again. It was great. It just wasn't what I asked for, but it was like, I mean, what did I expect, right? Dude, that's what we do, right? You know, I'm sorry, but this is just what we do. I have this powerful AI at my fingertips. I'm not going to tell it to write a 300-word essay on why 9/11 was the worst thing ever. We all know it was, and we all know, like, we've all heard lots of people talk about how bad it is. It's way funnier to be like, let's hear a pretty cool essay on like why it wasn't that bad. Like that's more interesting. It might be horrible and whatever. But that's what sometimes what humor is. You just, it's sarcastic, satirical, weird stuff. All right. If you were offended by this episode, please come back for more and I will offend you more in the future. We'll keep doing that. 10 out of 10 would do again. Yeah, I'm going to go honor my commitment to my family now and play a video game with my brother. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I will see you guys next time.